We are live.
What is up? Welcome back to Pull the Pin Podcast. Here we are, Season 2, Episode 7. Finally getting to talk about a tournament that we're going to bet some money on.
Let's go. My DraftKings is loaded.
Same. I played a parlay this weekend for football and actually made some money for once in my life. So I got extra betting money. So we're going to make all the money.
I took talk about it. Got to keep that secret from Emily.
You think my wife watches this podcast? Like, let me just be honest right now. If you think my wife watches this podcast,
It's got something else coming.
Yeah. All right. So as usual, we have Matt over here, executive producer. We have Tommy on my left, trying a little bit of a different mic setup today. We're really hoping to get some better sound quality until we figure out the best way to do this if we want to continue to do it live. So, Sentry Tournament of Champions, here we go. Tournament info. I like to run.
Let's just talk about how just excited I am for some 8 p.m. golf. You just.
It's the best time of day to watch golf.
I know.
Except when you wake up at 4 a.m. to go work out.
Fully aroused by it.
If you don't know what that noise was, it was my penis becoming hard. So, Sentry Tournament of Champions, we're going to be at the Plantation, Kapalua. This tournament originated in 1953. Moved to the Plantation, Kapalua, in 1999. It's a Ben Crenshaw design, Bermuda greens, par 73, approximately 7,596 yards.
Doesn't play that long, though.
Defending champion is Harris English. A couple key players to note that are not there this week. Dustin Johnson not winning a tournament last year, not getting the invite to the TOC.
It's got to be a first in like 15 years for him.
You know, that it's really sad that I don't have that number.
I know there was like a.
Are you saying? Hold
on,
this is my job.
Yeah.
I do want to add in something. Can I say that Dustin Johnson's drive? This was a Sentry, right? When he put it to literally 4 inches from 400 something yards away. Is that not the greatest golf shot ever?
I remember watching.
Is that not the best golf shot?
I don't know how it stopped. I thought if anything, it was going off the back of the green.
My dad never watches golf. Like he'll watch the Masters and whatnot. He called me from the airport in Reno to tell me he just saw the greatest golf shot he'd ever seen.
I don't know if it's the greatest golf shot ever. It is definitely.
You're telling me that you could, like anyone else's foot. No. Anyone else.
It was downhill, to be fair.
And he mishit it apparently. But you're telling me that someone else has.
Well, he left it short.
You're telling me someone else has put a ball from 400 whatever yards away that close to the hole ever.
Left it short, right in the center.
That's right.
He pussied it.
Also, Rory is not there this week. Rory taking the week off. This was kind of assumed that this would happen. He did win a tournament last year and turned down the invite. He is the only winner last year that turned down the invite, so the field's pretty substantial. Some past winners, we have JT. He won it in 2020 and 2017. Shoffley won it in 2019. DJ in 18. Spieth in 16. And Patrick Reed in 15. I always like to grade the field. I put that on the notes for you guys. I graded at an A-. Obviously, it's a really good field. It's an A+ if DJ and Rory are there.
Yeah, I think it's a solid A.
Agreed. I agree with Uncle Ty there.
The only thing about it is a smaller field. That may be the only reason I'd say it's an A-, just because it is a little easier to – you don't have to do as well because there's fewer people, but definitely the quality of player is an A.
You are correct. The last time the DJ did not qualify for this tournament was 2007.
Wow.
He had won every year from 2008.
Was I right on the number? I said 15 years.
10,
Let's
11,
go.
13, 14.
Oh, my game out the shoot here.
13.
13. Ooh.
So
You suck.
So
it's 2022. You got math right.
You suck.
Still one off.
Yeah,
It is our last short field.
College graduate, Tommy Matini, ladies and gentlemen.
So here we are. It's our last short field of the year. We go into the Sony next week with a full field. Should be a good time. Hey.
How are you, man?
Good. How are you? As we do our podcast in the store, every now and again we get friends that stop by and know us. I took copious notes on this just because it's the first tournament back, and
Uncle Matt's very excited.
It's Matt's first go around with me on a tournament that we like to bet on, and I might go a little overkill.
That's okay.
I think I hit 20-some players here with some pretty substantial notes. I don't need to read over all of them. It's just how I like to make my bets. The first one that I do want to read about is Spieth. 4 appearances, 4 top 10s, 3 top 5s, and a win. Hasn't had the opportunity to play in this tournament since 17-18. I'm just curious which Jordan Spieth shows up today. Later in the notes, I put, will the real Jordan Spieth please stand up? Is he going to be terrible like he was at the Hero, or is he going to come back and look like he did last year? Last year was a pretty good year for him. And he made 21 of 25 cuts, 5 top 10s, 5 top 5s, 9 top 10s, and a win. That's a pretty solid year for a guy who hadn't been in the winner's circle since 2017's Open. What do you guys think about Jordan Spieth moving into this week?
I mean, I think this will be a different Jordan Spieth than the Hero. I mean, like we talked about, I mean, the Hero was let's go down to the Bahamas, make a $300,000, maybe pick up some world ranking points. But this is real FedEx Cup points. This is a full purse. And again, it is another chance to make some free money. And get some free points because there's no cut. I don't believe
no cut again.
Mean, you're gonna walk out with some kind of check. It's a really tough life. You have to go to the Bahamas to get some free money, and then you have to go to Hawaii to get some free money. I mean,
sounds like the day in the life of Tommy Matini, right?
Yeah, right.
Wake up and piss excellence, and you're not wrong.
Exploit others.
Yeah. Matt, what do you think about Spieth going into this tournament?
I hope he shows up. I really do, because I don't know, just from the Hero, if he's going to be same thing. That was my concern, was the Hero, but also that's where we got away. Was he just going just to show up and have a good time for a week and then go home? Mm-hmm. We don't know that. So I think he turns it on.
I think the FedEx Cup points being on the line is this is the real beginning of the season.
Yep.
I agree with that. I think that's one of the reasons I was so excited about doing this. You should get all the winners, right? So you start running through guys that you like and that you might want to, push through. Oh, guys, I love the Birdie Wrap hoodies. Holy crap. We gotta throw that out there at some point.
Yeah, they sent us some Birdie Wrap.
Shout out Birdie Wrap. Shout out Birdie Wrap.
We didn't get you one.
What else is new?
I didn't get one, to be fair. I just got them, though.
Next guy on the list is the guy I believe will win this week. His odds will not pay you as well for the bet, but I think this is going to be a JT's kickoff to his Player of the Year candidacy. He's just looked too good here, early in the year. 6 appearances at this tournament, 4 top 10s, and 2 wins. Loves Hawaii. He's a great pick this week.
Has a 59 in Hawaii.
Yes, he does. He made 21 of 23 cuts last year on the PGA Tour and had 3 top 3s, 7 top 10s, and a win. It wasn't a great year for him, and he's one of the world's best. The early season PR incident, the death of his grandfather sidetracked him early, I think. Inconsistency plagued him all year. But I look for him to make a big comeback this year and win a lot of tournaments.
Yes, inconsistency, but also, this is how good these guys can be. I mean, you have 3 top 3s, 7 top 10s, and a win.
And we call
that's
it
a bad year. Yes,
exactly.
He said himself, I was unfocused, wasn't focused, just kind of going through the motions a little bit. That's crazy.
Most people any year with any kind of win, it's just automatically a good season.
Right. We'll hit some guys on this list that, that win was their first win in a couple of years. It's, I was looking, Golf Digest put out today their top 100 players. And it's not like the World Golf Rankings, it's their top 100. And just looking at some of the guys on there, you're like, that guy doesn't have a win yet. It's hard to believe that guy doesn't have a win yet. Like you run over a guy like Corey Connors or something like that.
Tommy Fleetwood.
Tommy Fleet was a great example, a guy who lost his card this year.
He'll be back, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's still a top 50 player in the world, so he'll be all right.
Next guy I have on the list is Jon Rahm, obviously. Rahm came out hot out the gates in this tournament last year, if I remember correctly. I didn't look at those numbers, but 4 appearances, 4 top 10s, and a runner-up in 2018 at the TOC. Rahm's coming off a ridiculous 2021, 1 cut in 22 PGA starts. His lone win was the U.S. Open, but had 15 top 10s. That's right, 15. I had to put it in here. That's right, 15 top 10s. Out of his 22 PGA tournaments
and a FedEx Cup.
Yep. He also had 2 runner-ups and 2 third finishes. Also, let's not forget about the Memorial withdrawal because of COVID,
which ultimately cost him $10 million in the FedEx Cup.
He tied for 7th here last year with a -20, but certainly has the firepower to sit in this tournament and play well. Where do you guys fit on Rahm here?
I haven't seen him play in Hawaii enough. I feel like Hawaii, like I said in the last podcast, is such a different environment. You have that don't get me wrong. Rahm can go deep.
Don't get you wrong.
Don't get me wrong, maybe. But yeah, but he is strike me as the guy. He's like JT was talking about. Any given round, he can go out 263.
Right.
And Rahm doesn't really do that as frequently. He's more consistent than he is. I'm going to pop off in 1 or 2 rounds and win the tournament that way. So I just don't know if he's going to take it deep enough to make it to win this one. But it doesn't mean he can't. So.
If I remember correctly, last year he struggled on the greens. It just stands out in my mind that was what kind of held him back. I mean, he still was. What did he play 7th?
Well, if you hit to 1 inch from 423, you don't have to worry about putting. So
DJ. Next guy on Matt. Rahm, anything?
I expect another big year. More wins. Yeah. More wins, though. Not just
more wins.
More wins. Yeah, that's
brought to you by John.
Don't get me wrong. The next guy on the list is somebody that Tommy he'll get mad at me about this one, but I like Decky this week.
Hey, Decky.
Yeah. So if he rolls the rock, I think he can play with anybody.
Switch to a mallet.
Yeah, you're right though. That one time he just switched to the mallet.
I just want to grab him and then get a translator and then tell him to use a mallet.
Yeah, of course we are. He's talking about a mallet putter. Of course it's a
sorry.
He Masters champ makes his 5th appearance in 8 years at the TOC. 3 of his starts have been top 5s, and the other is a tie for 41st last year, which I believe was close to dead last. The Decky has already gone to win on the new 21-22
Free money, though.
Winning at the Zozo in October. He also has a top 10 at the Fortinet Championship. Last season, 22-27 cuts made with his win at the Masters and 3 top 10s. He's a boomer bust guy for me. His odds are they will always pay. He's never in that upper echelon of the top 10 guys where a buck on a deck, you might win you $100.
Yeah.
So that's what I talk about. For those of you who haven't watched the podcast before, when we talk about betting, I make probably 60 to 70 bets every week.
You didn't mention his Olympics on here. Didn't he get a silver medal, bronze medal, maybe?
I don't remember.
I think he did well in the Olympics.
But look it up, executive producer. But my betting strategy is I make 60 or 70 bets with small money with big odds. So I might bet $3 or $4 on somebody like Justin Thomas to win. But then when you get down into those bigger odds and some of these guys a couple guys down on the list right now, Garrett Higgo. I'll put $2 on Garrett Higgo to win, and if he wins, it's going to pay out at $400.
Yeah.
So I don't have the odds in front of me, but that's the general consensus on golf betting. The odds are so big that all you have to do is put a couple of dollars and bet it 60 times. So you're talking $60 in bets that might pay out in $400 or $500. So that's the strategy for us when we talk about boom or bust guys. Decky's one of those guys. I think that if he gets the rock rolling, he could be a dangerous guy and a good guy to put some money.
Dangerous guy to go out and shoot 60.
Right.
It's all about his ball striking more than anything for him because he's such a good ball striker, but he also occasionally gets the chunks. And it's just out of nowhere, he just doesn't know how to hit an iron.
It's that pause at the top of the swing that kills me.
Just throws everything off.
Yeah, he just loses his slot. Your thoughts on Decky this week?
I love it. I actually like it.
We agree on something.
Yeah, guys, I'm looking for guys who can take it deep. You're gonna have to shoot 25, even 30 under maybe, to win this tournament. And you need guys who can go out and shoot 61, which is well under for this tournament. You need guys who can take. There's 5 par 5s, so you gotta take advantage of the par 5s. The deck is long. He can get hot, and he can start throwing. It's a longer course of throwing long irons into close something he's strong at. And God, if he ever stopped using a blade 4-iron and 3-iron, he'd be really good at golf.
So Hideci's finish at the Olympics was no medal. So he tied in a 7-way tie for the bronze medal and then lost in a
Okay, but he was up there though.
He was up there.
So, I mean,
He was close.
maybe one of the more recent good performances of his. He looked really good there though. So.
How do you feel about a Decky going into this tournament, Matt?
Well, I'm with you. It's either he's going to be near the top or he's going to be near.
Sawyer keeps shaking his head at me.
It's never ever going to be. You got something to comment there, big guy?
Okay.
Good talk.
Next on the list would be Patrick Cantley. I don't think I need to go over why Cantley's a good pick. The odds aren't going to be great. You're not going to make a ton of money on the bet if he does win. So if you're going to throw $2 or $3 on a guy, he's a guy to throw $2 or $3 on. He's player of the year last year. A little controversial, but I think he was as deserving as anybody wants to say he wasn't. So I mean, if you just look at his numbers in 2020,
if it's not Rom, it's him. So
17 out of 19 cuts, finished in the top 25. 17 out of his 19 cuts, he finished in the top 25, which is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. And he was really good last year. So
yeah, he doesn't strike me as a guy overly favorite for, just because again he's more of a steady Eddie.
No, but he's gonna have those odds this week. So like I'm not gonna bet him this week. Like I might put $1 on him just so I can say I picked a winner.
Yeah.
But like he's not a guy I'm throwing extra money on because I'm with you. I don't think that he can throw that 25 under on the card. Right. I think he's the type of guy if the weather's bad that you look for to play well. Mm-hmm. Like if you get rain and heavy winds, then I think you're looking at him. Next on the list would be Phil the Thrill, baby. It's Philip's 8th career start at the TOC, but first since the year I graduated high school in 2001.
Wow. Do you guys want me to make Uncle I feel 7. Old? I was 2.
The tournament moved to Kapalua in 1999. His 2 previous wins came before the move when the tournament was played at La Costa Country Club in 98 and 94. I remember those years, too.
I was not born yet.
Neither was I. So neither was
Phil the Thrill can still just do that. He can come out and play a game. This, honestly, like, I don't see him being in the hunt, but I'm going to bet on him because he's the type of guy, if he got a lot, he could score low enough in this tournament.
He's going to hit bombs.
Exactly.
Yeah, length isn't going to bother him.
He's going to go out and try and hammer the ball as far as he can.
Hellacious bombs, as he would say. There we go. Hellacious speeds.
Tommy, your feelings on Phil other than hellacious speeds?
I mean, he is so hard to bet because, like, it's either going to be like a win or
outside the top 50.
Like, God, near dead last. Like, that's the only, but what I kept saying last year, we were covering the PGA last year, and I was like, he will not win. Like, he's gonna make this.
It's gonna blow
at some
up.
point.
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna make it 10. I mean, there's really not. This course really doesn't lend itself to like big numbers. It's pretty wide open. Not like a whole lot to it. It's pretty straightforward ahead of you, so he should be able to just rip driver wherever he wants. Again, a guy who can go low. I just don't see him putting 4 good enough rounds together. But I said that in the PGA, and I did not make – well, I actually made good money on the PGA, but not off him. But –
I mean, I put here at the end of my notes, I don't see Phil in the hunt this week. It's always fun to talk about him. And if you bet on him and he does well –
but you have to bet on him because the odds are going to be great. And just in case he decides to mess around and do something stupid, you don't want to be the guy who didn't make money the week Phil went off.
Well, especially in our format of betting, right? Yeah. Like the way we bet, where it's you're making a ton.
Like this should be a good week to make money. It's a small field.
I'm going to bet on every player in the field.
Basically, yeah.
This week, I'm betting on all 40.
Yeah, but are you going to go $1 on each, or are you going to go like?
No, I'll mix it up here and there. Like, I mean, I'm not going to bet over $100.
Total.
No, exactly. And like, I mean, the whole goal there is you don't make a bet that doesn't pay you back, right?
Yeah.
So like, if I'm going to bet $100. I'm going to bet a couple of top 5s. I'm going to bet a couple of winners. I'm going to bet maybe a random prop bet, makes the first.
I mean, the field has got to be less than 50 guys, right?
I think it's 42.
So I mean, even if you bet $1 on every guy, you almost can't not make money,
right?
In this particular tournament, I don't know what the odds are.
Well, but and because
this should be a great week if you're like been following our show for a couple for the last year. Like this should be a week where we can attack and make money because
absolutely
it's a smaller field, but it's still golf odds. Like it's not like unless Justin Thomas comes out and you bet $1 on him, you're gonna win money and worst case scenario, make some of the money back that you put down. Like it should be a great week for us, hopefully, as a podcast.
Agreed. Let's jump to the next guy. This is your guy, Tommy. Sam
39, by the way.
39. See, there you go. I mean, I can bet more than $1 on every guy.
Tommy, if I win, I will buy that putter.
Okay.
The magic putter.
So we've got Sam Burns next. It's going to be his first appearance at the TOC. It's his, after a big year last year. One of the players that should not have a rust factor going on. He's second in the FedEx Cup points for the new season. He's played 6 tournaments already in the young 21-22 season and has made the cut in all 4 official tournaments, 4 top 25s, 3 top 10s, and a win at the Sanderson Farms Championship. Last year, he made the cut 19 times in 26 PGA Tour starts, 8 top 10s, 5 top 5s, 2 runners-up, and a win at the Valspar. I look for Burns to just continue to take a huge leap this year. I love him to win multiple times this year.
Yeah.
I love him to be in the talk for player of the year this year. I think he's
Is there
really
a most improved player? Because I feel like he'd be a great guy.
I don't know if that's an award they give out. It's something we can figure out. But you want to talk a little bit about your boy?
I don't like him to win. I love him as a top 5, top 10. I think that he's going to contend for sure. In my opinion, I don't think he's going to have the firepower to beat out a JT and stuff like that. But I would expect him to be involved in the conversation on back nine Sunday.
So just to counter that, because we got to disagree at some point. We said the same thing about Harris English last year, who ended up coming out and winning this tournament. So, I'm not going to just fall asleep on guys that I don't.
Remember when I had 3 of the top 5 last year in this tournament? It was a good time.
I do. Bye, Dan. I hope you find your dad. Oh, that's on the podcast. Matt, feelings on Sam Burns?
I just don't know enough about these things. Like, I understand I have all your notes in front of me here, but I'm not going to make just some wild statement and lose people money. So
do it.
It's not about a wild statement losing people.
No, he had
money,
a great year last year, and
exactly.
I think I agree with Tommy here, but I also see him as being kind of a future Patrick Cantley, where he's just going to be consistently good.
I think that's a good comparison. You'll see later as we get through all these notes, the stats that translate this week are so limited because we're early in the 21-22 season, and I didn't want to go back to last year because some of those guys haven't played in so long.
Right.
So, you're going to see that, as the season progresses, those stats mean more. This week, I'm happy it's how many? 39 people in the field. That's awesome to me because for a guy who does a ton of research, it's not an 85 to 100 guy field with cuts. I've got these 39 guys dialed in, and I feel like I'm pretty good about it.
Right, yeah. I mean, my thing with Sam Burns, too, though, is I like him more as the course gets more difficult because he's such a well-rounded player.
Sure.
But he doesn't strike me as the guy that's going to go out and shoot, 463s.
So, I mean, Harris won last year with a 25 under. I don't see that being out of the realm of possibility for a guy like Burns. I think Burns is the type of guy who might change your mindset on that by the end of the year.
Hope so. I mean, I love Sam. I love some Sam Burns. I mean, no doubt about it. I just don't. I prefer him in tougher formats.
So next guy on my list is a young gun, Garrick Higgo, another first timer at the TOC. We go from a guy who took a big leap last year and to another that I think should break out this year. Garrick Higgo won on the European Tour, won the PGA Tour.
You love yourself some Garrick.
I do. I think he's a good player. He's also left-handed, so I'm a little biased.
Yep.
But he's a young guy. The odds are going to be fantastic, right? So if you bet $1 on Garrick Higgo and he wins this week, you're going to make a shit ton of money. Not just a little. A shit ton.
Like 800 plus probably.
Right, exactly. So maybe $2 or something if you want that kind of money. But his odds are not going to be what JT and those guys are. He's a sleeper play. And I mean, why not? He's been playing more than most of these guys, right? He has more tournaments logged.
Why not him? Why not? No.
Exactly. After that, we hit Harris English. I don't think we really need to talk about Harris. He had a great year last year.
Ryder Cup. Played great in the Ryder Cup.
Ryder Cup was just, I just think he's a guy you got to pay attention to. He obviously feels comfortable there. I don't see him winning again. I also will probably bet on him, though, because he has won. Next guy would be Lucas Herbert, young Aussie. Has missed 3 out of 4 cuts. But the cut he did make was his win at the Butterfield Bermuda Championship in October. In 2021, he made 7 of 11 cuts. and finished 18th at the Memorial. He's played a lot more on the European tour at this point.
Yeah.
He's a young player, but he's another guy to keep an eye on. He's another guy that I look to have kind of a little bit of a breakout, not like a Sam Burns breakout year, but like a guy that you're just going to see a little bit more in the top 10, top 5.
Yeah.
One of those young guys that
I think he's still, like you said, just making his PGA transition.
Yep, exactly.
He's going to have a little bit of bumps and bruises along the road.
He's also a guy that can come out and shoot the lights out of a place, though, like he did at the Irish Open, or was it the Scottish Open? And it was the Irish Open, and won. Which is not an overly tough track, but I think he's the type of guy who can come out and score pretty well here.
Right.
Next is Bryson DeChambeau, 3 appearances in 4 years, 2 top 10s. I bet on Bryson every week because I hope it means he loses. So, I mean, that's just where I'm at with it, right? Like, I'm just not a Bryson guy. It has nothing to do with him trying to up his swing speed or any of that. I just think he's a PR nightmare, and he seems like kind of a dick. So he's just not a guy that I root for.
Definitely not a guy I want to have a beer with. Yeah.
Right. But, I mean, obviously the guy's a great player. I did put in here, though, it's kind of interesting. He's a great talent, but he's kind of boomer bust as well. In 10 of his 22 starts, he placed outside of the top 25, which is a big number for most guys in the top 10 world golf rankings. They're usually in the top 25. Bryson tends to either play really, really well or play really poorly. And when he plays well, it speaks to how well he plays, where he is in the world golf rankings and in the FedEx Cup standings and all of that at the end of the year. But, for the most part, he's a boomer bust guy, and the odds are never the type that I really want to take on. So that's my feeling there. Anybody else?
Well, I do want to say something about that. I was going to say something about course fit. You look at Whistling Straits, course fit was perfect for him.
Right.
And I feel like Kapalua is very similar to that. But we've also seen him play in this. Sure, G7 and then Solo 7.
Yep.
I don't know if he puts it all together this year and wins the damn thing, but just course fit wise, I think that's a good spot for him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to like I said with Phil, is there's not a lot of danger out there unless you're really crooked.
Right.
Like it's pretty forgiving layout. I mean, it's wide once you get off the weigh-ins are up, it's lost ball, like you're in a bush, but it takes a pretty bad shot to be there.
Right, and Phil's long. Phil's long.
I guess, So.
Yeah, fair enough. But no. Phil's long. Bryson is stupid long. So yeah. I don't want to see him win, but also I think it'd be cool to see him do what DJ did,
I think the bigger problem for him is going to be these greens.
He does not putt well in Bermuda.
Yeah, this grass and the way he likes to putt the ball, he likes to lag it up there, and that just gives it more chance to bump off line, gives it more chance to just get caught up by green, whatever. So I don't like him this week for that reason alone.
That leads me to a guy I really like this week, and the odds are always awesome, and that's Jason Kokrak. We're big Jason Kokrak guys.
Big Jason Kokrak guys.
When we get to the stats that translate, you'll see his name pop up there a couple of times. I think Kokrak comes out and starts off his 21-22 campaign. The 36-year-old, I think, is just finally hitting that groove as a, journeyman PGA Tour player that can win some tournaments. I'm excited to see him come out and play this week. I will definitely be betting him to win top 5, top 10, and he will definitely have
3 wins in the last calendar year, so why not?
And then the next on the list would be Kevin Na, who I would normally say that I don't like Kevin Na in this tournament because of the scores, but he shit on me last year and won a whole bunch of money for me at the Sony next week.
Yeah.
On a very similar course, still in Hawaii, similar greens. So I like Kevin Na to be in the hunt. I'm definitely betting him top 5, top 10. Don't know that I'll put money on him to win. Hopefully I don't regret that, but I like him a lot this week to be in the hunt.
I never hate putting money on a guy who can really roll a rock.
Right. Yeah. If he gets hot with that putter and starts walking things in,
it's walk out. My biggest question is he long enough?
Right.
Because Sony's significantly shorter than this week.
There it is. Attaboy.
I believe next week is like almost 500 yards shorter.
Is it?
compared to
I
this.
haven't started my homework. I have all my notes from last year, but I try not to go backwards. Next on the list, Daniel Berger, 3 appearances in the TOC and a top 10 last year. This will be his 21-22 debut, excluding the Hero, which is not a PGA event. Last year was a breakout year for the 28-year-old, 21 of 23 cuts, which is really good. 8 top 10s, 3 top 5s, and a win at the Pebble Beach Pro-Am. Berger could jumpstart his season this week. I don't know that he's going to score. I even have it. I like him to be in the hunt, top 5, top 10. I don't like him to win.
Yeah, not big on Berger, but every time I say that, he goes out and like
Plays really well.
I like him to be. He's my guy for leading after first round, though.
Right.
He likes to come out hot.
Is Berger like even sneaky gross anymore, or does everybody just know he's kind of filthy?
Everybody knows he's
gross. Yeah.
Zandershoffing next on the list. Xander, the only player in the field that didn't win a PGA tournament last year. He won the Olympics, which they are using as a qualifier for this. A little surprising since you can't game FedEx points or World Golf Ranking
money, anything.
Yeah. Right. But I mean, he's going to win this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to win a tournament this year. Why not this week? 4th straight appearance for Xander, 3 top 10s in a row, and a win in 2019. 20 for 22 in cuts made last year, 8 top 10s, 7 top 5s, not counting the Olympics, and he won the Olympics. 16 out of 22 in the top 25. I think Shoffley's primed for a big year this year. I think the Ryder Cup was big for him.
Yeah, I think that he has a big chip on his shoulder. You know, I think he's ready to prove that he isn't just another like a wasted talent or maybe not living up to his potential. He's won that. I think winning that Olympic medal is gonna. I think the worst thing for him was the fact that it was basically like the end of the year. Like I wish that he had won that Olympics, and it led right into the PGA season because I think it would have been awesome for him. But I think he's still gonna ride that momentum well into the season. So.
And I don't know that I have a more favorite Xander Shoffley than cigar smoking Xander Shoffley after the Ryder Cup.
Correct.
Yep. I think that might be my favorite Xander Shoffley. Any input on that, Matt?
Nope. I think you guys nailed it.
All right.
Good
Sunday M is next on the list. If he's right and playing his game, he can play with anybody, anywhere, anytime. I bet him like every week because if the robot shows up, he's going to be in the hunt, just like the Masters last year.
He burns me so often.
Yeah, he does. But
because he's like Hideki. It's like when he's good, he's really good. And when it's bad, it's really bad. And
that's
for that reason, but these are real polar opposites here. Like,
yeah, no, I know. You're not talking about
like
top 10.
He's not going to finish right in the middle of the pack. I'll tell you that.
It's going to be his second appearance at the TOC. He finished 5th last year with -21. He's off to a fast start here in 21-22. 4 events, 4 cuts made, 2 top 10s, and a win at the Shriners Children Open. In 2021, he played in 35 events, which is insane. Not many of these guys.
He plays like every week.
Yeah. 20 cuts made, 5 top 10s, 3 top 5s. He's one of those guys you worry about fatigue cutting in at the end of the year. At this point in the year, though, I look for him to be hitting his stride and being very good this week.
That's a perfect example, though. He only made 60% of his cuts.
Absolutely.
And then,
but if you look at the stats,
that might not be an exact.
If you look at the stats, though, the cuts he made were early in the year, right? When he didn't make the cut, it was late in the year after he played like 20 rounds when everybody else was only on like round 12. Right. So I think he experiences some travel fatigue. So now's the time to get on him. Next on the list is Colin Morikawa. Do I really need to talk about why he's?
You should put money on Colin Morikawa.
Yes. What are the odds going to look like there? Probably not. Yeah,
right.
But I mean,
he's going to win you money.
Great iron player, long course. Need we say more?
The last 3 on the list, Brooks Koepka. I'm going to hit on Brooks Koepka really quick. He's healthy.
Yeah.
I think he is going to have a huge year if he stays healthy. I don't think he's been healthy for like 3 years. We've talked about this on the podcast previously. I look for him to come out next year. I mean, last year he played in 20. He had 20 tournaments last year, made the cut 14 out of 20. But I don't think he was ever healthy. I think the first time we saw him healthy was the Ryder Cup. And then finally again at the Hero, where he was pretty daggone good at the Hero.
Yeah, I mean, I think every event last year he was reading putts like he was Spider-Man because he couldn't
reading putts like me.
because he couldn't put his leg out, or had to put his leg out or whatever. He's still got he's playing the Masters with stitches in his knees. The fact he even played in that at all is remarkable. But I think you're right. I think I'm interested to see how he does with the new tricks on stuff. I don't think that's going to be as big a deal as people are making out to be. I think these guys, he's obviously tested it before he signed a deal with them, so it's not like he's going to be like, oh crap, I hate this stuff.
It's also not like he's. It's not like he's sitting there going, Shrixon's the only team that wants to be, I mean, right? Are you telling me if Brooks Koepka called Taylor made, they're not going to be like, yeah, come on by.
Yeah, for sure. So he obviously did it for a reason, so I don't think that's going to be a problem. And I saw an interview recently where he was asked if 2017, 2018 was peak him, and he's like, "Oh, that wasn't peak yet. Yeah. You wait."
So that's where I
think he's tired of hearing about it. I think he's tired.
I'm sure he's tired of hearing about it. But also, you won 4 majors in 2 years? Was it 4 majors in 2 years?
Yeah.
Yes, that's insanity. And unless your name is Tiger Woods, I don't.
But he's not old either, so I feel like he's not ready to start talking about his previous wins. He's like, I'm going to go get more.
There's where I like his approach, right? So
I like the approach, but I don't know if I agree with that.
It's fine. I may not agree with it, but if he's saying it, he believes it, right? He's not going to say that to a reporter to try and cover up an ego issue, right? I don't think Koepka has a confidence issue whatsoever, right? So if he thinks that wasn't prime him, he thinks he's just going into his prime, good for him.
Right.
And maybe it leads to
good old-fashioned BDE there,
Right.
We'll move on. Tommy, just close your ears off for this one so you don't get upset. This guy cost Tommy a ton of money last year.
He really did. I just wanted to believe so hard. It just didn't.
This will be the Tennessee Top Hat, Cam Smith's 3rd appearance at the TOC. He has a T24 and 21 and a T17 and 18. 21-22 campaign is off and running. Smith is 3 events in. He has 2 top 10s and a top 5. 2021, I picked him to win a lot. It didn't come to fruition, except for in the Missouri Classic where he had a partner.
And then he goes and we didn't bet him that week.
I know.
What an asshole.
I said, against my fellow Pogmates, I see the 28-year-old having another solid year, including a win or 2. I don't see a major, though. This week, I don't know if he can shoot a low enough score.
Charles Howell III, but wins a little bit.
Yeah. Next on the list would be Mark Leishman. As you see, it's very short because for some reason PGAtour.com would not let me gank his stats. The page was closed.
Gank.
Yeah. Steal. Boop.
Like on my boy Taylor Gooch, so I mean,
hey man, I like Taylor Gooch a lot this week. So the next 2 guys are guys
we do.
This week.
Jesus, the most unfortunate name in sports.
Taylor Gooch. This week, this will be Gooch's first appearance at the TOC. He is currently leading in the FedEx points race. He's played 6 events in the early 21-22 and made all 6 cuts with a win at the RSM. I see him and Sam Burns being in the thick of things a lot this year. I think both of them are really good players.
$5 on Taylor Gooch to win. Even though Jason Thomas is an actual pick.
Jason Thomas?
Justin Thomas.
Ouch. Good Lord.
You were thinking about Duffner, weren't you?
Sorry, my mic was messed up.
Last on the list is Victor Hovland. If we need to tell you why Victor Hovland's a good pick, you don't watch golf. So go after Victor. I think this kid wins a major this year. I think he wins a ton this year. I'm excited about it. I then have just a quick top 10. Justin Thomas, JT is the king of Kapalua. Kyle Morikawa, the 2-time major winner, could ascend to number 1 in the world this week.
That's an interesting thing. Will he play like he did when he had a chance to get it at Euro, or will he be able to brush that off and get back to it?
Victor Hovland, is this the start of the year of Victor?
I say yes.
Used for the year of Neiman last year.
Hey,
he did
what he needed to do for us. We also have him saying he's going to win 5 times or something, but that definitely did not happen.
Pat Cantley, player of the year, baby. John Rahm, player of the year, maybe. Zandershoffing, only player in the field without an actual PGA Tour win. Change that this week. Sam Burns, the fire that burns you or pays you. Sunday M, he's too good to overlook when he plays his game. And then we've got Hideki Matsuyama. If he rolls the rock, he can play with anyone. Jordan Spieth. Will the real Jordan Spieth please stand up? A couple of stats, and then we'll move on to the closing part of the show. Strokes gained and approach. And this is the new season guys. So like, obviously, don't read too much into this. Some of these guys have only played a round or two, or a tournament or two. Morikawa is second right now in the PGA. Burns is fourth. Gooch is fifth. Cam Smith seventh. JT 11th. Driving distance, we have Shoffley third. Spieth 11th. Koepka 13th. Matsuyama 20th. Around the green, strokes gained around the green. M is 7th. Gooch is 13th. Matt Jones is 17th. Herbert is 23rd. The next two are the two that I am making bets off of. Par 5 scoring, Morikawa 2nd. Kokrak 5th. JT 6th. Hovland is 11th. All four of those guys are guys I plan to bet. Strokes gained putting, 7th is Kokrak. 10th is Morikawa. Cam Smith is 11th. And Leishman 13th. So right there are my stats to translate.
I got 4 bets for you for sure. We have 4 based off that.
Yeah.
My blue chip, JT for sure. Like you said, King Kapalua, Kokrak, love it, love that.
Mm-hmm.
My outlandish pick, as Tom always has, Taylor Gooch to win it all. And then I love to hammer Sandberg's top 5, top 10. So, and don't forget Daniel Berger leading up to the first round.
Love it. Love it. Kokrak's my pick to win, as well as JT. I also have Lucas Herbert to be in the top 10 and Garrick Higgo to be in the top 10.
You and Garrick Higgo.
Hey, man, the odds are going to be great.
I know, but you just – how many times – like, you just love to get burned by him. Like, you have no – like, you –
I went back and looked. I bet on him like 6 times last year.
You had him to, like, win the U.S. Open.
Yeah, he was one of the guys. Right? Like, well, no, but we talk about that, right? Like, we talk about the reason that Dan didn't like doing the show was every week Dan would sit here and go, I'll take Rory McIlroy. That's not why I do a betting show. I do a betting show to say, listen, here's a guy who the stats match up pretty well for him to play this course. Is it going to happen? 99% no. But I don't want to be the guy who sat here and looked at the stats and went, oh, man, he fits that course. I'm not going to bet him, though. Like, you know what I mean? So, like, that's how my brain.
I know. No, I just think, like, for me, like, you could tell me Cam Smith's, like, lined up to do everything. Like, absolutely fucking not. That guy is on my shit list.
What did he do to you? Besides,
I bet him so often last
year.
You
bet him so. That's your own doing at that point. That is your own doing.
I'd be like set up to win like $600, and he'd like.
We'd be going into Sunday texting each other, going, "Cam's in the hunt. Cam's got it. He's got it." And then it'd be like 3:30 on Sunday.
I wanted to believe in the Tennessee
he
top
triple
hat,
bogeyed the 3rd hole.
I wanted to believe in the Tennessee top hat too, and I think he's like the opposite of the biblical story. He needs to cut his hair and just. I think maybe he'll regain some power. I don't know, but it's whatever it is, dude. It's just not working for you. So just change it up. Maybe go back. Maybe get some Slim Shady fade or something. I don't know.
All right, so we've thrown about as much information as we possibly can on the TOC at you in 42 minutes. There are a ton of other bets on there. I highly recommend going.
Are you going to post any of this information?
Yeah, I am. Okay. In fact, we now have a Pull the Pin podcast Facebook page that goes that goes straight up with the account that we put on Spotify. Mm-hmm. So I plan to start uploading all of this information for anybody who wants to see free of charge, unlike the place that I get my stats, golfstats.com. If you are a golf gambler and you don't have golfstats.com, you are missing out. They will give you everything you need to know. Tomorrow they'll have their preview and picks out, and it's well worth it. I think I gave these guys my password if they want to go on and look, just to take a look at things. It's a ton of fun.
We did.
You can go back and look through years past. And
I'm here for color commentary, strictly.
It's not very colorful.
No, it's not. Yeah, that is.
Anyway, golfstats.com. Love it. Matt is rocking a Birdie Wrap shirt today, which is very cool. Birdie Wrap was one of the first people to reach out to us as a podcast. Yep. And we did a review of their Birdie Wrap. The video is somewhere on the internet. I don't know. Maybe we'll throw that up on the Facebook page to show it off. I have a couple of quick fun things here to finish the episode. I want to do rapid fire questions for both of you, and I'll answer as well. And then we're going to do tip of the week. I think we're just going to have each of us gives a tip every week on whether it's playing, equipment, attire. I don't care. Just your tip of the week for the random golfer. And then the last thing we're going to do today, with this being kind of the first tournament coming for the year, who's your player of the year pick? Way too early prediction of player of the year. So we'll finish with that at the end.
Okay.
All right. So quick fire questions. First one is rakes in or out of the bunker?
Out, 100%.
Agreed. Out. Tiger or Jack?
Tiger. There's too many stats that, I mean, just look at his like career major, like over to under par and compared to anybody else.
Okay, so I am Tiger as well, but just for the sake of argument,
Because you love it.
executive producer, please look up the amount of runner-up finishes that Jack has in major tournaments and the amount that Tiger
If you
has.
ain't first, you're last, you know?
Hey, man. Agreed. Okay, next one, dress codes.
It's
no
got-
jeans. Do not wear jeans on a golf course. God damn it.
No, I'm a big stickler. You gotta tuck your shirt in. That's
Yeah, it's not that
it's gotta
hard.
be a
It's not
collared-
hard.
It's gotta be a collared shirt. It's gotta be tucked in. You gotta have a belt. Look the part. Like, I get it. Like, there's a lot of guys. Like, there's a lot of companies that are making the untucked shirts, and it's trying to be more casual. But I mean, like, golf is still a game of etiquette. And I mean, I'm a snob. Like, I've been a member of a country club my entire life, and I remember I'd get yelled at when 7 years old because my shirt's untucked. Like, it's like, but it's part of the game, and it's a dress code, and I think you should follow it. And if you don't like that, then I don't know, you're missing out some of the fashion of golf and all that stuff too. So
Agreed. I like dressing nice on the golf course. What's wrong with golf pants and a nice polo?
What's the quote in Remember the Titans? If you don't have a shirt and tie, go down to the bum on the corner, give him a bottle of hooch and trade him for his or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of conflicted about this. Like, I want to grow the game, but I know there's certain people that can't go out there and always get the best stuff. But there are ways around that, right?
you don't
like,
have to have the best stuff. Just
Can I
just
finish?
tuck your shirt in.
Shut the fuck up and let me finish. Christ. There are ways around not being able to afford certain things, right? Like, you can go somewhere like Marshall's and get a shirt for $11, and I think that I wouldn't go play baseball. I'm agreeing with you. So
Yeah.
that's why I'm not going to go play baseball and wear football pads, right? I'm not going to, just like girls aren't going to play field hockey and not wear skirts, thank God. So, anyway.
By the way, so one thing you just mentioned, Marshalls. I got a really nice pair of Nike Tour golf pants for $17 over there. So go to Marshalls, go to Ross, go to TJ. I don't care where you go. Just you can do it. You don't have to get Nike. You can get the PGA Tour apparel. It's fine. It's $10
It doesn't
probably.
even have to be like a
you
golf
got
polo. It could just be a polo, just a collared shirt of any kind.
Exactly.
And
And
don't
just
wear
tuck
jeans
it
in
in.
a golf course.
Yeah.
Please
No
don't.
jeans.
Jack Nicklaus has 19 runner-ups. Tiger has 6.
Because he got the job done.
That's
kidding.
Jack got it done more.
Yeah, I know.
So anyway, that's I am a Tiger guy as well. The overall dominance of his run is why I take Tiger. Pace of play, but I want to throw a twist into this. Pace of play, carts against walking. So I have this argument with a couple of my friends every year. I am convinced that if you walk, all 4 players walk, or 3 players walk, and 1 guy's in a cart, whatever, you will play faster than 2 carts with 4 people.
Agreed.
Absolutely agree.
I get in this argument with people all the time, and it drives me nuts. People, get healthy. Walk the golf course. Get a buggy. I don't care. Walk the golf course. Also, get your friends to walk. If you are all walking down the fairway, you can chat it up just like you're in a cart. It's going to take you longer to get down the fairway than if you were driving, right? And then, guess what? You don't have to go to your playing partner's ball.
Yeah.
You can just walk to yours and get your stuff ready and make your decisions and hit a good shot. I'd like to see more people walk. I'm guilty of it too. I'd like to walk more. I need to walk more. I think it'd be better for me in general. So that's where I sit with that. You guys seem to agree. Gimmies, yay or nay, and what is the distance?
Yeah, I'm absolutely yay on gimmies. Like I I can't comment on the competitive side because I haven't played competitive golf before. I'm not quite there yet.
Well, we'll talk. 5-5-5 match with your buddies on a Saturday, Sunday. Obviously, if we're playing an Elanco event, there's no gimmies.
Yeah, right.
Right. You know
what I'm saying? Like I've never even played for money with my friends on the golf course.
God damn, are we gonna have fun this spring taking all his
absolutely
money?
Not. No, but just I don't see why not. Like everybody knows, at least for the three of us sitting right here, if there's a 1.5 2 foot putt that we've seen each other make it 100 times
all day long.
Yeah, go ahead, do it to them. But if somebody in the group says no gimmies today, let's put it all out. Fine by me either way.
Yep.
So distance.
You can't be doing
grip sling.
4 or 5.
Grip sling.
Yeah, inside.
But I also think, I don't know. It's just like I play like anytime you're playing with your buddies, you're usually playing match play. So it's like whatever they're willing to give you, I guess.
Yep.
It's match play. They can give you an 8-footer if they want. But if you're just going out with your, I don't know. It's just
there's no wrong answer.
There's no point to stress out about it. Like,
right.
If you want, if you're somebody that's constantly missing 3-footers, you shouldn't pick up 3-footers because you need to get better at them. But I think it's one of those things, a pace of play thing. I know I play in a league where we have to putt everything out. And part of the reason it takes so long is you got 4 guys playing for money, and you've got 3 coins around the hole, all within 18 inches of the hole. They're like, oh, I don't want to finish though because this putt means something, or I don't want to step in his line. So then all of a sudden it adds 5 minutes of the hole for 4 people to tap in a 1-inch putt. There should be a common sense to it. So we're not on the PGA Tour.
I have an issue with gimmies in one situation. You've played with me enough. You know it's not like I'm the guy that doesn't give putts.
Yeah.
I get irritated with people who will be inconsistent with their gimmies.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Okay, so you haven't putted a 2-footer all day. All of a sudden you're on hole 16. You're up a hole, right? And all of a sudden you're standing over the 2-footer and nobody says good. That's
gamesmanship.
It is, but
that's weak.
I think it's weak sauce. I have no problem with it. I'm going to go up and hit the 2-footer.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, it's a pace of play thing. You didn't make me putt a 2-footer all day long, or you gave me a 4-footer on hole 3 for some stupid reason because maybe you didn't see how far I was away from the hole from where you were saying yeah, let's go pick it up, and I pick it up, and then later on in the round there's a 1.5 putt that I literally could breathe into the hole. You're gonna make me line it up and putt it that. I don't that irritates me a little bit. Not enough that it bothers me around. Fuck it. But
I see it differently. I see it when you get to the end of a basketball game, you start fouling. It's hey, look, I have 3 holes left. I'm down 1. I need you to maybe get this. It's different. You're just more in a desperate mode than you are in the first quarter of a game. You're not going to start fouling when you're down 10 in the first quarter.
I guess my thing is when I play, my game's going to win the game for me. I'm not looking for you to lose it. So I try my best. I'm sure I'm guilty of this.
Yeah.
From time to time, just not thinking about it. Right. Mm-hmm. It's just something I've noticed over the years of playing that I try to be cognizant of and not be that guy. There are so many times where I'll be lining a putt up and somebody will be standing over their putt and looking at me is this good from 1.5 foot? And it's not that I didn't want to give it to them.
Yeah.
It's that I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at my putt, right? So
that's my bigger pet peeve is when people give themselves putts.
Oh, no, sorry.
Or the guy who begs for it. It's look, if I said I would have told you it was good by now if it was good. But I also come from when we play members, which are the better ball match plays. People are ruthless. My playing partner Will, if one of the first 2 holes, he's gonna let you stand over a 2-footer. He's gonna let you go through your routine, line up. As soon as your ball goes line of putter, oh, that's good. just to make them freak out, oh, I have to make this 2-footer, go through the whole routine, and it's just instant. And then later in the match, when it's the last hole, you gotta go through it again, and then he's thinking, is he gonna give it to me? Is he gonna do it again? And then he misses it because he's he doesn't know he has to putt about. It's freezing the kicker.
I can get that part of gamesmanship in a member tournament or a competitive tournament.
Yeah.
I don't get it in a Sunday morning round with your buddies where it's if I win, like we did this on Friday.
Yeah.
If I win the money, guess who's buying the drinks when we walk in there?
Right.
It's not like I'm gonna go, home and be like, Emily, you wouldn't believe I made Garrity putt this 2-footer and he missed it. It was the greatest thing ever. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a serious match where like there is conceding holes and stuff like that. Like, sure, I get where you're coming.
Yeah, and I guess like if it's a 5-5-5 match, it really shouldn't matter. But I've also been in matches where like it's like this guy misses his putt, it's like a $400 swing or something. Like so that's
when we played with Will and his buddy, what was his name? I liked him. He was a nice guy.
Maybe Josh or something.
Even though I lost all my money, Bashong, Bobby Bashong.
Bobby, because Bobby played out his mind. Yeah.
All right, so here we go. Is ball in a divot?
Take
roll
it out.
Or no roll?
Take it out.
I mean, I'm leaving it in because that's the rule. I think it's a rule that it's such a slippery slope. It's like, then what's a divot? What's not a divot? Like, like I'm not in a divot, but I'm in a bad lie. But like, it's kind of a divot, so I'm going to move it. Like, like.
No, I hear you there.
I guess it's the point where it's like, okay, well, there's no penalty for hitting a bad shot anymore because you're just going to be like, well, I have a bad lie, so I can move it. Like,
here's why I don't move it. Because when I play in a Lanco tournament, I'm not going to be able to. So where are you going to get to practice a shot out of a divot other than a shot out of a divot, right? So if you're going to be playing competitive golf, don't roll it. If you don't give a shit, roll it.
Well, that's where I think they could change the rule, and I agree with you there.
They are talking about changing it.
Exactly. Because the current rule, and you're playing competitive, and you're trying to get yourself ready for competitive golf. No, don't move it. Hit it out of the divot. That's fine. But I think it's so stupid that you can't just even if you go a foot backwards towards the tee box, I don't give a shit. What's the problem with changing that rule? That makes it.
But then you get to the point where it's like, all right, you just could play left, clean, and cheat all the time, no matter what. Like, I just think it's a slippery slope.
It is.
Yeah,
and I agree there, but that's where. And
I play in a league, like the same league I play in, for how hardo we have to be tapping everything in, we also roll it everywhere, 100% of the time. Not everywhere, in your own fairway.
Right.
Or like you can mark it on the fringe and stuff like that. So it's like, we're really going to putt everything out, but then at the same time, I'll never have a bad lie or a bad mud on my ball.
Lift clean in place?
Lift clean in place every round of the year.
Wow.
See, but I can get behind that too. Like, put a tee down, clean it, and then I'd rather see, especially with amateur golf, I would rather see, we talked about slow play. I would rather see that, pick your ball up, clean it off. I don't care if you.
Is that just in the fairway, or can you do it anywhere?
No, just in the fairway.
Okay.
Fairway collar.
Sorry.
You have to be on the fringe or you're not in the middle of the rough and just picking it up.
Right.
Or if you're on the wrong fairway, you're not picking.
Sorry,
it up.
I missed that part.
I think that would make it so much easier.
All right.
Yeah.
So he's rolling, you're not rolling, I'm not rolling. Is golf too expensive?
Yes.
No.
I understand all the maintenance that goes into it.
That's what I was gonna say.
And we're also talking about different areas.
What do you
Exactly. I'm going to cut in front here, Uncle Ty. All right. Let me get on my high horse. Exactly. So around here, I think golf's pretty reasonable. I think the courses charge, for the most part, a pretty fair rate, especially for how nice they keep them. And, where I'm from, golf is really expensive. Granted, higher living costs and everything's more expensive out there. But I'm talking of places where the fairway is dirt and they're charging $65 on a weekday.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
I think we're spoiled around here.
Yes.
So when you go and you travel and play some golf, if you go down to Virginia or the Carolinas and you're starting to pay $100 a round and you walk out and you paid $110 a round and maybe they just aerated the greens and didn't tell you before you paid. Mm-hmm. That's when I get a little frustrated. But for me, I love the game. I budget for it. So golf can be as expensive as it wants to be. I'm going to find a way to play it. Yeah. When I first started playing, I worked out a deal with Crossgates so I could cut trees down there to play for free. And then I was a starter on weekends to play for free. And, if you need that type of thing, there are options to cheapen the game, right? There are ways to get around paying full price. There are ways to, get yourself onto a course, play twilight rates, walk instead of ride. I don't think it's too expensive. Do I think that there are people that it keeps from playing? Yeah, 100%. I think there's people that can't make it happen because of their financial situation, and that's a shame. But I also think that you look at how much money it costs to keep a golf course. I don't think you can lower the price. Next.
Well, I was going to say, I mean, as a business owner, I mean, I'm not going to tell anybody what they should and shouldn't charge without seeing their P&L and stuff. I mean, I know for a fact Van Creek doesn't make any money. Like, their goal is to break even as a club from a golf standpoint, a food standpoint. Like, so if a place like that's charging $90 and has membership and they're not making money, who am I to tell them they should be charging less? Because then obviously they're going to go under and then there won't even be a golf course there. Also, I mean, Dan might argue against this, but golf is a hobby and not a necessity.
Absolutely.
So if if you want to play golf, like you said, you budget for it. Maybe you don't go out drinking that week because you want to play golf that week. I mean, it's something that it's a leisure thing, and if you don't want to spend that kind of money, then maybe it's not for you.
Right. I want to add one more thing, equipment-wise too. Like, do you think we'd have half of what we have in our bags if it weren't for how lucky we got with certain things? Like, I know I would, if I didn't work for TaylorMade previously, work in golf previously, I probably wouldn't have a lot of what I have right now. I'm very lucky. But
I'm a good example of a guy who, outside of the irons, the deal you gave Emily last year, which was awesome, I've paid full price for everything that's ever been in my bag.
Yes.
And it's a reason that, I mean, it took me 8-9 years to get another set of irons. That's but I was happy with what I had.
Yes.
So why buy something new until the right opportunity arises, which, I got with helping out Tommy around the shop and my wife being the coolest wife of all time. That's right, Emily. If you do watch this, you're awesome.
I mean, I don't think I'd have necessarily 2021, 2022 product, but I'd have big clubs. I'd have clubs that are within 5 years old probably still.
Yep.
And because I know how I want to play golf, and so I'm going to make sure I get like things that are going to help me best play the game. So would I necessarily have a prototype 2022 driver in my bag right now? No.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, just
are you allowed to show anybody that yet?
I think as of tomorrow I can.
Nice.
So it's like $600 drivers, $1,000+ for an irons. I see it adding up a lot, and I feel bad for some people that really want to get into it. And like, I've given some of my oldest stuff away just because they're
alternatives, so you don't have to pay that.
Right, you
There's
don't.
a used market.
You go to Play It Again Sports.
I mean, again, it's how bad do you want it? Like, how much do you want to save for it? How much do you want to maybe work an extra shift for it? Like, it's the reality of the world. I mean, everything costs money, and I mean, I'm sure they're raking it in from a manufacturing standpoint, but at the same time, like, they're a business too, and they have to make a certain amount of margin, and they're supporting thousands and thousands of people that they need to pay, so they need to make money. It's a business.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next one. Masters or Open Championship?
Masters, because it's the same location every year, and it's the official start. It's the unofficial start of golf season for everybody. And I think it's just an allure. It's just that place is magical. Like, people drag their whole lives just being there, let alone not never even have to play it, but they just want to be on the property.
Masters.
Yeah, I'm stuck there too. I believe if we were on the other side of the pond, that'd be a different answer. I think it has more to do with where you live.
I think more Europeans appreciate the Masters though than Americans appreciate the Open. I don't think the Masters is.
That's okay. I hear what you're saying there. Yeah. Sorry, when you first started that, I thought you were going somewhere different with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I just think that Europeans get not equally as excited, but they get more excited for the Masters than we do the Open.
Yep.
And partially that's TV coverage. Like for them, the Masters is what we're talking about. It's like 8 p.m. golf. Like, that's awesome. But 4 a.m. golf is less exciting for us. Yeah.
Well, not for us. We'll have it on in the weight room.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So, but you know what I mean. So.
All right, and the last one, Matt had to go take a phone call. We've got walk or ride.
This is a tough one for me right now because physically, I don't know if I can walk 18 holes right now. Yep. I think when you even though we just made the opposite argument, I think when you ride properly, you can get around faster. Like, if you do it the right way, you drive halfway between your 2 balls and each go to your shot, just hit it. When you're talking about driving from one ball, it's not. But I prefer to walk. When I play a serious round, I walk because I want to have. I want to have the time between shots to let go of a bad shot and just have more time to think through my shots. So sometimes I feel like when I play competitive rounds of ride, I let the round get away from me a little bit because I'm like hit one shot, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like 3 over. I didn't even realize I started the round yet. So,
Matt, Walker, Rod.
Selfishly ride because I like being comfortable and putting all my shit in the cart and, just having it all right there, water, phone, keys, whatever else it may be. And I will say when I played by myself, the fastest round I ever timed and played, I had the whole course to myself up in Lake Tahoe. I played an entire 18 holes in an hour and 45 minutes riding.
Yeah.
It's not that hard.
Oh, if you play by yourself, riding is certainly faster than walking.
Yes.
Right. Like if you're
obviously.
Right. I mean, that's
if
the
I had
walking
it that
debate
way, everyone
earlier
would ride
was
that fast.
the walking debate earlier was when you're in a foursome, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Then walk.
I'm torn with this. I'm kind of with Tommy right now. I've been going through some physical stuff over the last couple of years that has made walking difficult for me. But riding also makes it difficult because I stiffen up.
Yeah.
So like if I'm walking, I never have that opportunity, right? So if I'm playing a weekend round and it's like 5 hours long, which is awful, but it happens, and I ride, I get stiff. If I was walking on a day like that, I probably don't stiffen up as quickly because I'm moving more. But for me right now, I have to pick riding, but I want to be a more active walker.
And there's literally nothing better than golf walking with a real caddy. Just
no, nothing at all.
And if you've never had
experienced,
I was gonna say if you've never experienced, like, it doesn't have to be like a grade A caddy, but like a caddy provided to you by the club, like, just phenomenal. And then when you get to a place like I had a Philly Cricket this year, where like this guy, like, that's what he did. He's like, I have a caddy at Philly Cricket. That's how I make my living. Like, this isn't something I do on the side. Like,
right.
Man, is that fun? Because those guys know the course in and out, give you great reads, like clubbing you right. Like, they learn, like, 2 holes in, they're like, all right, I got your yardages down. I'm like, how in the world did you do that? But yeah.
All right, so let's go around tip of the week. Matt, we'll start with you.
If you're uncomfortable with your long irons, come see us for a hybrid fitting. We see that all too often. Actually, had a gentleman come in a couple weeks ago, wanted a driving iron, ended up in the new Apex UW from Callaway. They're just so much more forgiving. They're just more helpful in the long run.
Tommy?
Well, to piggyback off of Matt, just if you're looking for a driving iron, you better be a low handicap, and B, have a very specific reason to get one. Don't get it because you're like, oh, I'm a good iron player. Like, it should be like, hey, I need a safety club off the tee. That's another story. For me, it's to not waste this time of year. I think this is the easiest time of year to make the biggest improvements in your game. I know it's hard to get outside and hit balls, unless you're lucky enough to have a simulator like we do. But golf, if you get a nice day, your score doesn't matter. So you can try that thing you've been wanting to try. And if it goes bad, it's not like your handicap's going to balloon 5 shots. Like, if you're like, hey, I've always wanted to try to hit this draw around the corner, try it. I've always wanted to try this shot around the green, try it. Like, this is the time to experiment with your game, to make a grip change, to make a swing change. Like, now is the time where you can, now is the time that you're going to make up to take 4 or 5 shots off your game this year. It's not March 1st or April 1st. At that point, you've missed the boat. You're going to have to, scores are going to start counting. The pressure's going to be back, and you're going to have to stick to what you're comfortable with, and you're not going to actually make that improvement.
So my tip today is going to piggyback off yours a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Now is the time to make these adjustments, right? So the last thing and the overall tip is mechanics should not be part of your routine while playing on the golf course. Okay. When you are getting ready to hit a shot, the last thing that should be going through your head is, don't move your head. Keep your weight forward. Tuck your elbow. It should be target, ball, go. All those mechanical thoughts happen this time of year when you swing in your basement or you get a nice day that you can go to the range and you want to work on something. Guess what? If you go to the range this time of year on a nice day, you're probably going to have it to yourself most of the time. Even though it's nice and people are going to want to get out, you're going to have plenty of open space. If you hit a couple of hosel rockets, it happens. But this is when you need to fix those things. Like Tommy said, not March, not April, and not on the course. Do not make adjustments on the course. When you get to the course, you have the swing that you came with that day. That's not to say that you go, oh man, I was a little quick at the top on that swing, right? Like that's going to happen. You're going to feel the mechanical issues.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is to walk up to your next shot and not go, don't be too quick, right? The goal is to go to the next shot, go through your pre-shot routine, find your target, look at the ball, let it go.
Yeah. I think it's if you're gonna have a swing thought, you should limit it to one thing.
Absolutely.
One thing. Like for me, it's often right now it's path related. I'm thinking about coming from the inside less, and it's just something that I have to actively think about to make sure I don't do it. But I'm not thinking then also pivot my back foot. Make sure you hold your it's not like this one thing. Your main whatever your main focus is, it should be the one thing you're worried about. But I love your approach to it. I mean, too many times we're so worried about the swing, we forget about what we're actually trying to accomplish. So even if you do put a good swing on it, like you do the mechanically right thing you want, but then you don't actually do the job because you're not even thinking about the shot that you're going to hit.
So my thing with a swing thought, and this is how I incorporate it. Very rarely, and you've played with me enough, very rarely will I take more than one practice swing, 2 at the most.
Mm-hmm.
And the practice swing is where the swing thought comes into play. Right. So on that practice swing, I may, like, if I'm trying to, get my hips through a little bit more, right? Like if I feel like my bottom half is static, I'll, in my practice swings, like just focus on the hips a little bit. And then the second that I address the golf ball, it's, that tree is my target. So target, ball, swing. It's literally, that is the progress. Like that's the process for me. I stand over the ball. And if you ever watch me play, I look, and in my head, I'm going, target. Right now, it's picture a tiger looking at a putt. Target, ball, go. There's no time for me to get lost in any other thought. As I've gotten better, I find myself getting lost in mechanics sometimes, right? Like when I'm working on my swing, like this Friday was one of those days because it's January, or I guess it was December 31st, and we're on the course, and yeah, sure, I want to shoot well. It was nice out, but at the same time, it's we're not in midseason. We've been hitting in here, so I tried a couple things. It didn't go terribly, but it didn't go great either. So my big tip is fix things now. So in March and April, you can play free. I think is the best way I can put it.
Be confident. Pull the pin.
Be confident. Pull that motherfucking pin. Last player of the year picks.
I'm sticking with my guy JT. I think that he's on a warpath this year.
Rombo's on a warpath. He didn't win it this year. I'm sure he's got that chip on his shoulder. I will end you.
So JT is my pick as well, but just for the sake of fun, Victor Hovland.
My heart wants to say Sam Burns because
of course
I love Sam Burns.
Sam Burns,
out
there,
if you are listening, I love you.
He just went boop.
And I'm gonna find a player of the year poll. I'm sure there's somewhere I could bet on
PGA
player of the year, and I'm going to bet on Sam Burns because I just think he'd be a great odds.
When you visit the Pull the Pin podcast Facebook page, you can find all the information we went over on the players today. I'm also going to try and throw odds up there. Probably won't be up for a day or so. Other than that, I want to thank Pull the Pin Lancaster, the golf shop here. What
a great shop, honestly.
What's that?
What a great shop, honestly.
It really is. It's just a top-notch place to be. I want to thank the Painted Lines for always hosting us on their YouTube channel. You can also check us out at Spotify. Just search Pull the Pin Podcast, and we're right there.
Shout out Puppies and Golf,
Yeah, absolutely. So I got my Puppies and Golf sweatshirt on today. Amanda Vallionis, CBS Sports. She does a charity, Puppies and Golf. My wife and I support a little bit. That's pretty cool. And
Birdie Wrap,
yeah, absolutely. Birdie Wrap. If you have cuts on your hand or blisters and you need something, Birdie Wrap is for real. They sell it in here at Pull the Pin.
Sure do.
The stuff works great. It's waterproof. It doesn't rub. If you put it on your knuckle, you can still bend the finger and it doesn't bother you.
It's very malleable.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. That's a great adjective.
Wow. College educated.
College graduate. Thomas Patini.
Well, at least he passed English.
We don't really know. I don't know if Whoop is still a thing. I don't know if we're still doing the Whoop or not, but
I don't wear my Whoop anymore. I
Depressed me.
should be right now.
you depress the crap out of me every day. I just wake up. You're at 2%. You were physically dying.
You're literally
have like
literally
3 beers
dying.
like the night before.
That is
you
not
are
true.
actively
That
dying.
is not true. The
Fine,
way-
I had 7 trash cans. the night
Exactly.
before.
Yeah.
You are actively dying.
If you don't drink 47 Pedialytes, you will collapse.
If you do not drink some H2O immediately, you will die.
This is your body. Your kidneys have failed.
Hey, I only had 2 bottles of champagne on New Year's. Right?
All right, for Tom, for Matt, I'm
Shout out
Ty.
New Year's.
Shout out to New Year's.
Shut up, Moet. You know.
Thanks as always for anybody that joins or listens. Let us know if you make some money on our bets this week. We'll certainly let you know when we make all the money.
Moet, if I win this week, I'll buy a bottle of you.
Join us next week, Monday at 3 p.m. here on the Pain of Vines YouTube channel and on Spotify the following day. Have a great weekend.
Come get fit at Hold a Pin.
We're good at our job.